This man is on a mission to protect sea life that is under threat. His discoveries have shocked the scientific world. By pioneering the latest technology, he hopes to save some of the rarest creatures on the planet, like the giant sea bass, a monster of the deep that can grow to nearly 3 meters long and swallow a medium-sized shark in one gulp.
They're the closest thing you can get to being extinct.
With only 500 giant sea bass left in the ocean, could a Facebook for fish help bring them back from the brink of extinction?
Technology is both the genesis of the problem and I think an important part of this solution.
Douglas Macaulay is a professor of marine sciences at the University of California, Santa Barbara. He's on his way to the Channel Islands off the coast of California. This unique and delicate ecosystem was made into a network of marine protected areas, parts of the ocean where fishing is restricted or banned. Many scientists believe that creating more of these areas could be key to saving some of the thousands of marine species currently at risk of disappearing forever.
This whole area right here, primo.
That sounds great.
A lot of marine life.
The giant sea bass used to thrive along the Pacific coast, but sport fishing and gillnet fishing have decimated the population. Last year, 97 of them were sold in California alone. That's 1/5 of the current population. All around the world, advances in technology are allowing fishermen to go further and deeper than ever before.
We're in a pretty serious point now for the future of oceans, but what I see is an opportunity. In the midst of all this bad news, we have more science that is telling us how to react to these threats than we've ever had before.
Marine protected areas currently make up 3.7% of the ocean, but critically endangered fish like the giant sea bass don't respect these borders. Doug's work is helping to establish where else and why fishing should be banned or restricted.
We'll also be putting down a baited underwater camera to try to collect some of those images of giant sea bass if they're in the area. Of course, they are rare, but just hope luck is with us today.
Conventional tagging methods are hard to use with rare species like the giant sea bass. So to track them, Doug has developed a novel alternative. He's building a photographic database that can map their locations, a kind of Facebook for fish.
This is the baited remote underwater camera. It's focused here on our bait cage. We'll get this guy set up and ready to go.
These cameras are carefully lowered into the depths, where they'll be constantly recording in a bid to capture a glimpse of one of these enormous and elusive sea creatures.
It's a magical experience. And you look down beneath your fins, and there is wildness. You have these 100-foot fronds that grow from the bottom to the surface, leaking through the canopy of this kelp forest, rays of sunlight. It really feels like an underwater cathedral. Every time I go in there, I'm blown away. That's what a marine protected area is about. It's about creating a legacy so that that inspiration is there for generations to come.
Doug's work tracking the movement of marine species has already had a major impact. One of his research projects informed the US government's decision to expand America's largest marine protected area.
We used tags like this in a study of a shark species called a gray reef shark, which, as the name suggests, people always thought lived on coral reefs. Put this tag on, lo and behold, this shark actually was traveling way out into the open ocean. They were feeding out in these blue pelagic zones, and the protected areas that we'd set up for them were too small. So it's a really great example of how a piece of technology, when you strap it to a shark, it can tell you how to be smarter at setting up protected areas.
After his success with GPS for sharks, Doug hopes that his Facebook for giant sea bass could lead to similar results. If he discovers they're populating other parts of the ocean, he can build a case to create new marine protected areas. And again, it's a piece of technology that could make the difference. Back in the lab, Doug is reviewing footage from recent dives.
Here, coming out of the corner, another giant sea bass, coming in so close you can actually see the parasites on its head. Interestingly, this guy's got some scars on his pectoral fin and a fishing line hanging off of him. That's a guy who has a hook there that it will be lodged in its jaw.
Helping to analyze these images is an algorithm originally developed by NASA to identify stars. But Doug and his team are now using it to identify fish.
On both sides of a giant sea bass, there are spots, and those spots are unique. Accidentally, these giant sea bass are carrying their own barcode on the sides of their bodies.
The algorithm can quickly scan and identify individual fish. So far, Doug has catalogued 115 of this critically endangered species and is mapping their migration patterns.
We know next to nothing about giant sea bass. A project like this gives us the raw data to actually manage their future successfully.
Marine scientists are increasingly turning to technology and data to help reverse the damage being done to our ocean and to endangered species like the giant sea bass.
We need to see more people like me that are fish nerds hanging out with computer nerds from Silicon Valley to understand more about the oceans, to see more on the oceans, and to manage them more effectively. I really see technology as the keystone for being able to figure out how to get to that 100-year future, that 1,000-year future, which is healthy for our oceans.